Hey everyone, Mrs. Patola here, Unit 1, Lesson 8, Adding and Subtracting Decimals. Yesterday we took a look at the basics for adding and subtracting decimals. I hope you watched that video that was by actually a history teacher. I love to bring in some good music and get our math groove going in the morning. All right, so as we look at this problem here, let's look at the do now. So for the do now, which is right here, okay, you can see that the directions stated to round each item to the nearest whole, then add. Remember, the nearest whole number is the ones place. So when we rounded each of these numbers, $12.39 rounded to 12, $8.11 rounded to 8, $15.75 rounded to 16, we add them all together to get a total of 36. Okay, here are the answers. If we take a look here, here are the answers for adding and subtracting decimals. The directions are here. Remember, I always give a math recipe, so there'll always be those steps there. Please read them if you need to, okay? For number 1, you can see the answer is 5 and 834 thousandths. Number 2, now notice this little yellow spot here. That we are annexing a 0. That means we're adding a 0. We line up the decimals when we are adding and subtracting. When we are adding and subtracting decimals, you can see that we are lining up the decimals. The decimals have to line up. Okay, that's a very big important fact when you're adding and subtracting decimals. So your answer to number 2 was 10 and 1,418 ten-thousandths. If we scoot over here, number 3, the answer, now it was subtraction. Again, you line up the decimals. Very, very important. If we take a look here, you can see we are lining up the decimals. Okay, we had to annex a 0, but you are using a calculator. What I would suggest is you try it without the calculator first and then check your work with the calculator. Now, on a unit test, you would have to set it up properly in order to receive full credit. Number 4, if we take a look at number 4, the answer is 1 and 106 thousandths. Number 5, we have to line it up. Now notice you have to be very careful when you line up your decimals for number 5. We have 1 and 27 hundredths. And number 6 is 8 and 46 hundredths. Okay? Next, just some key points here and some important things that you really should know. When you set up your problems, and you can copy all of this, boys and girls, into your workbook, you're going to set up your problems by 1, lining up the decimals. Okay, so real important here, you're going to line up your decimals. Next point, annex zeros if needed. Annexing zeros means that you're adding zeros to the ends of the numbers, okay, which will help you when you have to add or subtract. The way Mrs. Gelderman calls it, she'll say you have to zero it out or block it out. And lastly, you're using your calculators to check your work as you go along. So you could add, subtract, and check your work. Now, something else I wanted to bring to your attention is we're going to just go back and look at the previous page and just check your work from last night if you didn't already. Just in case you needed to, here are the answers again for page 38. Okay, on page 38, these were the answers. So you could take a look on page 38. The best choice for number 11 was B, 60. It did round to 59, and then the best choice was 60. Now, some of the boys and girls, I just wanted to mention this, some of the boys and girls are adding all of the decimal numbers first and then rounding the answer. Boys and girls, you have to be very careful. We do not do that. We always estimate early. So we're going to write this down here because this is really important. Okay, we're going to go to the top of the page and I'm going to write this down. We estimate early to make it easier. Estimate early to make it easy. Okay, we always round first. Round first, then add or subtract. Okay, that's how it works. Number 12, the answer was 83 and 9/10. And then if you look at number 9, you can see that Berkeley is correct. Okay, Berkeley was correct. The total you needed was $10.60 each. And then lastly, Sweet Vanessa Okay, she went shopping and she had to buy some items. We rounded them because it said to use estimation to determine if she had enough money. And if you use the estimation, it came out to $9 and she had a total of $10. So Vanessa had enough. Now here we are on page 40. So I'm going to just do this quickly guided. Boys and girls, the word annex means to add 0 as a placeholder. It does not change the value of the numbers. So what I'd like you to look at here are the setups for each of these problems, numbers 7, 8, 9, and 10. Notice how I set them up. I lined up, the decimals are all lined up. Okay, the decimals are all lined up here. So what I'd like you to do is rewrite them just as I have them here. Here's number 8, and then you have the setup for number 9 and number 10. And I'm going to ask you to try those independently as a warm-up. Stop the video, and then you can check your work. So pause here, and then continue after you've done the work. What I am going to do is include the answers right now. So for number 7, and please stop, don't just copy as I do it. Alrighty, you want to get the best out of this that you can. So number 7, the answer is, I'm going to give us a red color here. We have 3 and 753 thousandths. Number 8, the answer is 6 and 985 thousandths. Number 9, the answer is 23 and 8 tenths. And number 10, the answer is 26 and 816 thousandths. Alrighty, let's take a look at the next problem. Number 11, we're focusing today on some word problem strategies. Okay, so if you take a look at problem number 11, it says the following. It says you have a $20 bill and a $5 bill in your wallet. Do you have enough money to buy all of the following items, and explain? So if I have $20, I'm just going to kind of make this a little larger here so we can look at it. Okay, so if I have a $20 bill and a $5 bill, how much money do I have? Well, I have 20 plus 5. That means I have $25. Awesome. And now I'm buying these items here. So basically what I could do, if I decided to, is I could actually just simply add them all up. Okay, I could just add these all up together. So you could actually pop this in your calculator and add them up. But what I decided to do, because I like to make things easier, what I decided to do for each of these is I rounded each of them. I rounded each of them. So let's take a look. So the 1212, when we're rounding, you round to the nearest dollar. So the 1212 rounded to, this rounded to $12. 805 rounded to $8. 259 rounded to $3. And when I added them all together, I got a total of $23. The question is, do you have enough? And the answer for that is yes. Okay, the answer is yes, because the total was about, now watch what I'm saying here, was about $23, and I have $25. Now, if you did the actual total and you added it up, your numbers would be a little bit different, but the answer will still be yes. And always, when you're doing the word problems, box up your answers. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Number 12, Lindsay bought a pair of shoes for $53.49 at the store. She gave the sales clerk $55. How much change should she get back? Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do right now is to pause the video and to try this on your own. Think about how much change she'll get back. What operation would that be? Pause the video and try the math on your own. And as you can see, the answer for that is $1.51. Number 13 is a problem that Mrs. Spatola calls a hot question or a higher order thinking question. Sometimes I'll throw these in here and there, and it's a challenge question. It doesn't mean, oh, it's a challenge, I'm not going to do it. Yes, you are. You're going to give it a shot because you'll be surprised how many times you might actually get it right. So let's look at number 13. It says, Vin predicts the actual difference, okay, the actual difference of 19 minus 7 and 82 hundredths will be greater than the estimate of 19 minus 8 equals 11. The question is Vin correct? So that's our question. Explain how Vin might have arrived at that prediction without subtracting the actual numbers. Well, first of all, he's saying that the actual difference of 19 minus 7 and 82 hundredths is going to be more than the difference or the estimate of 19 minus 8 equals 11. He's saying that this is bigger, and he's not doing the math. He's not doing the actual math, but he's saying, hey, this one here, this 19 minus 7 and 82 hundredths is going to be more than 19 minus 8 equals 11. He is correct. Why do you think that? Well, when we are estimating, and here's why. When we are estimating what's happening, for 7 and 82 hundredths, what did we do? We did round up to 8. So 19 minus 8 is 11. Ready? So if 7 and 82 hundredths is used instead of the 8, this is less. So when we subtract less from a number, we get a higher number or more. So let's write that down. When we subtract less from a number, the difference is more. Okay? All right. So try to process that. Think about that. Again, that's a higher level thinking question. It's called a hot question. And it's good to have these challenges presented to us. Try them ahead of time. Stop the video, pause the video, and then try to do things on your own. And then you could always continue and check your answers as we go along with the guided work. All right. Getting down to the last two, number 14, when adding and subtracting with decimals, why is it important to set up the numbers properly? Why is it important to set them up? Because we want to get the right answers. So you could write that down. So you get the right answers. So you get the right or correct answers. And remember, you always line up your decimals. Line them up. You heard that in the video, right? So you get the correct answers. Correct answers are good. And lastly, how is adding and subtracting decimals similar to and different from adding and subtracting whole numbers? Well, the only difference when we add and subtract decimals, they are absolutely similar. They are similar because we add and subtract, right? So they're similar because we add and subtract, Okay, and they are different. Why are they different? What do we have to do with those decimal points? We have to line up the decimals. And that's it. Okay? All right. You have some independent practice on page 41, AKA homework. By the way, AKA stands for, did anybody know? I know that one day on the video it cut out. It stands for also known as. All right, this page is a wrap. Let's take a look at the next page because there are just a couple of things before you get going that I want to go over with you. Here is your homework page, page 41, or your independent practice page. Just something I wanted to bring up for your attention. It says practice here, practice. For questions 1 and 2, use the chart below. It says location. It gives you the locations: Long Island, New York; Los Angeles, California; Chicago, Illinois; Manhattan, New York. And basically it's giving you times, average time to work, okay, to travel to work. This is apparently how long it takes to travel. And question number 2, I just want to bring it to your attention. It says, which location has the quickest average travel time? Okay, quickest. Look at the arrow up here. It says, when looking for the fastest time, you are looking for the smallest number. So anytime you're looking for a race or you're comparing times, the smallest number is what you're looking for. All right, give these a shot and we'll see you soon.